So today, this is my Ford Courier. I've already engine swapped it, done a couple of things to it. I just took it through the red zone area and went through big puddles. Then I had to take the piping off here that runs through to the snorkel, make sure that there was no water in there to seize the motor up. So I checked that, but there was no water in it, which is all good. It just cleaned underneath the old truck, which is better than most. But if you didn't know, if you ever want to make your turbo on your Ford Courier boost faster, or the boost to come in faster so you don't have much lag, turbo lag, then what you can do, usually these two things down there join together, the wastegate and the oil feed from the turbo, and then the petrol one and that one join together usually. So what I've done, I saw this on YouTube, which I'm going to put it back on YouTube too because it does actually work. So you run the fuel one to the wastegate, I think. Well, I need to follow these lines. Now you run the fuel one to the oil feed, and then you run the air one that's coming from the main air that comes through to the turbo straight to the wastegate. So then it gives it so it has no turbo lag. That is so hot. I just gave it like a big rev. Yeah, so when you feed that, it doesn't matter what sort of tubing it is. Like, this is just cheap stuff that I bought off at Mitre 10 for, how much was it? $13 for a whole roll, and I've still got heaps left. Like, I haven't used stuff all, so if something happens for any of it, then I've still got heaps left in here. If I open this up, I've got, like, here it is in there, like lots of tubing and tools to put shit back on after the engine swap. But this truck's only done 180,000 k now, the motor on it, so it's pretty mint, pretty straight. It's a turbo one, good condition, no milkiness, no head problems, nothing like that. Everything's working mint. Turbo works mint. I saw coming off at the traffic lights or intersection that it has turbo lag, and it starts to come in about 2,500 revs, the boost. Now it's coming in about 1.6 or 1.8 thousand revs, so 1.5, 1.8 revs, so it's a big difference when you take off, because basically once you put your foot down, it goes a little bit, and then straight, the turbo comes straight in straight away. And then you feel that power, you know what I mean? So doing this for like $13 is definitely worth doing. If you want to make your Ford Courier, if it's a low one, if it's an off-roading one, or if it's been engine swapped with a WLT motor and it's a turbo one, then that's what you can do. Because this is just an off-roading Courier. It's got 32-inch mud tyres on it. I don't think it's got a lift kit on it. I think it's just been lifted from the body. It's got something that I have to figure out underneath that you can lift it up with, but it's just got 32s on it. And I've got my engine crane that I used for it. And if anyone wants to hire an engine crane, this one's hired out for $50 a day if anyone wants to hire it. I bought it for my truck, used it, and now I'm just hiring it to get some cash. I have to get a Ronton registration for this truck and pay some diesel mileage, so that's the next thing that I'm going to do. I've had this truck for about 4 months now, and in that I've got a new motor in it. I've got brand new mud tyres on it. I've done quite a lot of stuff. I've cleaned the interior. And if you say, oh, engine swaps, you need all the special tools and stuff, nah, you don't. I've got these tools, those sockets, just these common tools, and like a light. That's my starter motor. I'm having starter motor problems. The clutch inside the starter motor, all the way in here, the clutch isn't working. So you're supposed to use some degreaser and soak it in some petrol or something. The day that I rebuilt it 3-4 times, I didn't have petrol or anything. So I just did it with water and tried to do it, but it worked slightly for a couple of days, but now it's back to its normal self. So I have to take it apart again, which, and do it the right way, because it's a pain in the bum having the starter motor not working properly. But if anyone wants to know how to rebuild, mostly these are all the same starter motors, but how to rebuild a WLT starter motor or a Master Bounty or for courier starter motor, let me know, because I can show you how to rebuild one from scratch, and clean it up, clean all the oil off it so it works better, and make sure that the brushes are in good condition. But anyway, like I was saying, I've got these tools, and I had one more big socket set that I sold like a month ago, roughly. When I was buying those tires, I needed some cash, so I sold my big socket set that I had. But except for that, this is all I've needed to do a whole engine swap. Just a jack, some jack stands, two jack stands, a couple of sockets and spanners, and just screwdrivers, and yeah, you don't need much. How does that work? The brightness, strange. Yeah. So that's what that's all you need to do engine swap, because all you have to do, unbolt it from the gearbox, which is underneath, and over the top down there has got some bolts, and then the two engine mount bolts are down there. It has just the main ones that you can get to, just two little, I think they're like 14 millimeter sockets. Undo those, and then undo all this sort of stuff, undo all the electrical stuff on the alternator and the computer, and unplug all this shit, take the battery out, obviously, which is common shit. Battery's a bit weird after going through water. And yeah, take off all this stuff to the turbo, the air intake, dismantle the exhaust down there. It's got 4 bolts. I broken one, so I just like to 3 back up, but you're supposed to put 4 on there. But take that off. You might have to take the bracket off underneath the vehicle as a bracket, so you can move the exhaust away from it. And then once that's all done and the radiator's out, I didn't take mine out, and then I ended up hidden it, which was dumb. I was just being lazy. But take the radiator out. It's only two main bolts, these ones, and then it pulls straight out when you take these off. And then yeah, take the fan off is a lot easier. Taking the fan off is probably better, because you've got more room when you're trying to push it onto the transmission. But except for that, oh, they're so tight. Oh, here it is. Except for that, yeah. Then what I usually do is hook it around the exhaust, and hook it around here, a rope around here, a rope around there, have it on like that kind of angle that way, and then get the jack. Obviously take the bonnet off so that's not in the way, and then jack it up. Then you might have to pull it like back and forwards, try and push it away from the clutch, from the gearbox, and yeah, and then you just take the motor out. Pretty simple stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But this is a decent Ford Courier. The actual body's done 350,000k, and the motor's done 180,000k, so it's in pretty good nick. Manual with a snorkel, mud tyres, roof racks, and yeah, new motor now. Have to get right on registration, and that's that. But if anyone wants to learn how to rebuild the starter motor, instead of buying a new one for 250, it's the usually cheapest. It can go up to probably about $600. But if anyone wants to learn how to build one from scratch, just rebuild it, clean it up, let me know. I can show you. It's only like a 20-minute job, roughly a 30-minute job. But yeah, that's me.